Hats off to 2024 and time to put it on in 2025. I swear, this year has already displayed amazing energies and synchronicity in my life. We have a super fun show to bring in this new year. Before we dive into all the fun stuff, though, our thoughts and condolences with all the people affected by everything that happened in New Orleans and Las Vegas. Thoughts out to those family members and everybody involved with that. But that being said, it is a happy Friday. I'm so happy to be in here. It's been almost 10 days since we were in the studio, so I'm excited to be in here right now. And, of course, I'm here with Kevin, air in the sails, Batstone.
Full send, baby. Sails up. Let's go. 2025 is here. First episode of the year. Great energy. It's good to be back. I hope everyone had a fantastic holiday. Some people are going back to work. Have already been. Maybe you don't go back till Monday. The fact remains we keep the show fun. Art mentioned it. There's some terrible things that happen around the country. Unfortunately, there's always going to be bad things that take place, Art. So we try to do our job and make you laugh going into the weekend. Let's roll.
Let's bring it in, and we're bringing it in with Today in History. We're going back to 1777. There's an angel number in there, so pay attention, people. General George Washington's Revolutionary Army defeats British forces at the Battle of Princeton, New Jersey.
Intense.
So, I mean, just that sentence, Washington's Revolutionary Army.
Well, think about what happened the year before in 1776. This was epic times.
It was.
Did you ever see The Patriot?
I did.
Great movie.
Yeah, that is a great movie. That's a good one. Going forward just about 100 years, 1870, we have the construction begins on the New York's Brooklyn Bridge.
I've been over it.
That's cool. I have not.
I've been over it.
So the construction, it took 13 years. It was completed in 1883. I did the math. That means it's been standing for 142 years.
Look, a lot of stuff on the East Coast has been around a long time. You get it in parts of like Pennsylvania, New York, where I'm from, in New Hampshire and Boston area. Old architecture, old stuff. It's really cool.
I didn't like these old battlegrounds too, like Civil War type stuff, Revolutionary War type stuff.
Intense stuff over there.
Another 100 years in the moving forward, 1977. We got Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. They incorporate Apple Computer Inc. So that started in 1977. And then in 2022, Apple becomes the first U.S. company to be worth $3 trillion in value after tripling in its price. So I wish, hindsight being 2020 in the 90s, 80s, when I was getting my first allowance money, if only I would have put it in Apple.
There's always going to be those stocks and those things that go, and that's why I tell people to get into crypto now if you can, where you can.
You've been saying that for years.
I've been saying that for a long time.
Years.
The price just keeps going up. What do they say? Stocks just keep going up. Some of them don't. Some of them do. Apple's a great hold right now, even at its all-time high.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that it came full circle right here on January 3rd in history.
That's right. Great. And what do you got bringing us in, Kev? You got some fire. Holidays are stressful for a lot of people, especially all those delivery drivers out there.
Yeah, so Amazon, they were stressed. There's no question. I mean, over 50% of Christmas gifts exchanged over these last 2 weeks came through Amazon, including the ones I got. So I'm part of that number. Well, apparently around early Sunday morning, around 2 a.m., southeastern Massachusetts, my old neck of the woods, I think it was down in Lakeville. Yeah, Lakeville Police Department. They discovered, those totes. You ever seen an Amazon driver? They have like these big totes to carry all their stuff. They wheel it into package lockers and things like that. They found 80 packages just dumped in the woods, just out there. People are like, where did this come from? It had property Amazon all over it, all this stuff. Someone could have gone out there and ransacked that and got all this free stuff. Well, apparently they tracked it back to the driver, and ultimately the driver was too stressed. He said, this is bullshit. They got me out here working late. So he pulls off into the Lakeville woods and just starts hurling packages out into the woods.
He just had enough.
He said, this is too much for me, man. I can't handle it.
Well, and look, I don't agree with that being the right action,
Absolutely
but I
not.
also don't agree with the circumstances in which created this type of emotion, because they put these drivers underneath duress by saying you have to get back at a certain time too, like you need to deliver within a window. Like a lot of these, like we've heard this for a long time, how they would like pee in water bottles, like they don't even have a chance to do a bathroom break.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate circumstances. I mean, I think they're just as glad as everyone else that period is over. They got through O&D. Q1 is here. I mean, unfortunately, you kind of agree to the terms and conditions of that job, and you're going to be working major hours. I know they don't pay the best. I would advocate for that. Amazon did comment, and they said that none of its operations or deliveries were affected by the work stoppage from the strike or any of these incidents that occurred. What's Amazon going to say? I mean, they're making money hand over fist. Speaking of a stock to invest in,
yeah.
I mean, Jeff Bezos is right up there with one of the richest behind Elon.
Oh yeah, no, big companies, man, and it was all these things were like on the brink of technology when technology was really starting to develop. Everything we've seen in our lifetimes, and now it's 25.
It's blown up.
It's 2025,
Crazy.
man. This is so nuts.
It's crazy.
2024 was a hell of a year.
Sure was.
But we have some other fun articles. Look, there's been a lot of stuff going on in New Jersey in the news about drone sightings and like so much concern about that. What are these drones? Who knows? But we did identify one of these drones to actually be piloted by Kishan Patel, and it saved a dog on thin ice. So this is actually a pretty crazy story. As I was reading this, I was like, this is actually a good story. So a dog ran away from home. It's like one of those little Cocker Spaniels, like one of the little type of guys. It was a pup, right? So 20-month-old. And a concerned neighbor flew out with a drone to try to lure the dog back in. Obviously, it's on thin ice. It's dangerous to go out there. So he put chicken on the drone.
So he baited it.
He baited it, and it was working. The dog was coming out of the middle of the thin, icy lake in New Jersey, and as it was getting closer to shore, it saw the rescue team there and got scared and ran back out onto the ice.
Wow.
Yeah, so it worked, but then it failed. After that, the sun set. So it's getting late. I mean, the sun's still setting early. So the drone pilot stuck around and kept a spotlight on this animal. So the search and rescue teams knew where it was. So he's actually in coordination now with New Jersey police and like the fire department or something out there.
And he's just an average guy running his drone.
Just an average guy out there running his drone, man, trying to do the best.
Wow.
I believe it was the police department. They did get out. They put boots onto the thin ice. They were able to corral the dog to the shoreline safely. The dog disappears after that. They can't find it. It runs ashore. It disappears.
This dog's wily.
And so the dog actually turns up the next day, like on a neighbor's front porch.
Wow. So the dog got himself off the ice.
Yeah.
And then ran in somewhere.
Yeah, and ran back, and they couldn't find him the same night, but the dog was returned the next day to the owners. I think that was a crazy story. With all this drone stuff that we hear, it's always nice. I'll go ahead and say that was the hero of the week, helping out a dog.
Yeah, I like that. And he committed to it. He didn't just try for a bit and was like, see ya, you're
on
your own.
No, it was hours. It was hours.
He was committed to this job, and we got to talking about these lakes and these frozen ponds and stuff like where I'm from. You can drive your truck on them and stuff, but you really got to be careful of those, because what they do around, if you're going to keep your boat in the water, some people pull it, some people keep it. When they keep it, they put bubblers in the water so it doesn't freeze. Yeah, which was naturally going to create for thin ice around that area.
Yes,
and dogs see this as an opportunity. They get excited. We see it all the time.
Wow, man.
And they end up going in.
Yeah, it's dangerous. If you go underneath the ice, you might not ever come back up.
That's one of my fears.
Yeah. Oh, it was like getting caught underneath ice, me like trying to bust out of it, like, help me.
I went to school with some wily folk, and they would go from one ice hole and swim under the ice and come up through another ice hole.
That's risky, biscuit.
I was like, no way I'm doing that.
That's super risky. That's super risky. Well, happy the dog made it safe.
Yes.
And sticking on the cool theme right now, I mean, it is still winter. You got the random record of the week, baby.
The random record of the week. It happens to come in my native land. I didn't grow up in Poland, but I have Polish in me.
Yes.
Right. My mother's maiden name is Zawadzki. So this is a Polish world record that they defeated over there. This is a tough town to pronounce here, Art. I'm going to give it my best go. It is the city of Międzyzdrój, and that is in Poland.
Międzyzdrój.
Yep, Międzyzdrój. And so basically the idea of this was an ice bath relay with how many participants they could get.
Okay.
So they ended up getting 200 people. They dunked in the ice. There was a minimum requirement of 2 minutes per dunker.
Oh, that's...
So this took a while.
Yeah.
But they had to go fast. Like, get out, next person in, get out, next person in.
That's a proper plunge.
Proper plunge, and they end up submitting it to Guinness. Guinness has now declared it the biggest ice dipping event in Guinness Book of World Record history with the most participants.
Okay.
Now, within the participants there were some people that are going for the records of individual time spent in an ice bath. One of them going 3 hours, 6 minutes, 45 seconds. The other, Michael Jerkowski, is going 4 hours and 2 minutes. So these are long hold ice plungers. We've talked about this. Joe Rogan says do 2-3 minutes a day. These guys are going hours.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I did an accidental cold plunge in my pool recently.
Wasn't heated?
No, I hadn't swam like all December. I was, I'm still doing other workouts. Either way, I'm like, I got to get back in the pool. The hot tub heater's down, and I assume that the pool is still good because it's 2 different units. And I go to jump in, and I put my foot in first. I could tell it's freezing. I'm like, whatever, I'm here. I jump in, and it was so cold I started hyperventilating. I started thinking about a cold plunge thing, though. I'm like, so if I could just stay in here for 60 seconds. And to do that for hours, like, you have to be conditioned. Like, I honestly felt like if I stayed in that pool for too long that I could die. Like, that thought crossed my head.
Hyperthermia.
Yeah.
It sets in.
So this hours.
This is what happens when people fall through the ice. Is hyperthermia sets in, especially if you have clothes on, the clothes get wet. It pulls all your body heat out of you, and then you go into, your body's trying to generate heat, and you have no dexterity of nothing.
Yeah.
No, crazy.
Yeah, no, your movements are limited. Like, I couldn't even do a full breaststroke. Like, I was like, like, I was freaking out. And
it's pretty intense.
So that's a really cool one. And until you do a cold plunge, like, you don't really know what it's about until you try it. It's pretty intense.
We used to do this thing called the ice out, the penguin plunge back in New Hampshire. They would do it at Lake Winnipesaukee, where I'm from. So as soon as they would declare ice out, which basically what that meant was the ice was no longer safe for you to drive a vehicle on.
Okay.
So you'd still see ice out in the middle towards the bras, but like the shore was open, everyone would go in and take a dip. And that was the penguin plunge.
Ooh.
Polar plunge, baby.
That's not.
I did that.
Yeah,
I did it a few times a year. My dog did it once and then threw up when she got out because it was so cold. Yep. True story.
Poor pupper.
Yep.
Well, good stories here. We obviously have to run through the Would You Rather and do a recap.
It's been a while.
And were you right? It was the...
I am right.
The untangling the lights compared to being a Santa Claus at a mall.
Yeah, so before Christmas was the last time we were in here. Yeah. We asked the viewers, would you rather spend 8 hours untangling Christmas lights or 8 hours as a mall Santa?
We both untangled.
We both untangled, and America's untangled with us 100% unanimous.
Really?
Taking the untangling. Nobody wants the mall Santa.
Nobody wants to be the mall Santa.
Nope. No one wants the mall Santa. Did you see Will Ferrell was dressed up as Elf at the hockey game the other night?
I saw some of that.
That was pretty cool.
I did see some of that.
Buddy the Elf just sitting there having a cocktail.
Hanging out, man.
That was pretty fun.
I mean, dude, if you played that dope-ass character, like, wouldn't you wear that? Like, you're that dude.
You're the elf.
Yeah, you're him.
It's a great movie.
That is a good one. So Kev actually came up with this week's Would You Rather, and I always love a contribution to the Would You Rather after hundreds of Would You Rather questions. This one's a good one. I still haven't really made my decision.
I think I'm ready.
Okay, so you should read it, Kev.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
All right, so basically the Would You Rather this week is, would you rather sing your favorite song in front of a sold-out arena, whether that's Red Rocks, Ball Arena, Mile High Stadium, wherever, as big or little of a crowd as you want, or would you rather sing that song in front of the artist, the original artist, alone?
Yeah.
So you have the opportunity to one-on-one intimately sing this song that you're covering to the artist that wrote it, or you get to perform it in front of 20,000 people.
Yeah. So how I'm looking at this is like opportunity-based. So if I'm in an arena with the opportunity to sing, then I'm doing something.
I'm taking the arena.
I'm doing something there.
Taking the arena.
You're going to the arena. Or if you're in front of the individual artist, like, this might be a big opportunity for you to grow in your singing career. Like, if this is something that you're doing.
Yeah, if that's something you want to do. I just think it's kind of a fun one because there's pros and cons to both. People won't always... They get into this because they want to play Red Rocks. They want to have a sold-out show.
Yeah.
So if you have the opportunity to do that and you got 20,000 people, that's 20,000 new networking opportunities potentially.
That's true.
New followers. You don't even know who's going to be out there. So rather than just having a one-on-one, I'm looking at that from a more opportunity perspective as well.
I'm going arena on this too.
I like it.
Look, you got to have the guts, you got to have the grit, and you have to have the voice. So I would need to practice on the voice part.
It'd be fun though.
Yeah,
it'd be fun to have that opportunity.
I mean, you've sang in front of people before.
Not that many.
I've only rapped. I've never been like a singing guy.
Biggest crowd I ever played for was maybe 250.
Yeah, that's still pretty decent.
Yeah, at that biker rally.
That's still pretty decent. That was a good time.
Oh, that was epic.
So what do you pick in America? Are you going to sing your favorite song in front of a sold-out arena or sing it in front of the artist who wrote the song? Let us know on X and in the comments below.
That concludes this week's Would You Rather. And now we're going to go to some interesting things happen in Russia. Apparently I like being all over the world. I talked Poland, now we're going to Russia. I just found this kind of interesting, and I think it's a good reminder of the freedoms that we do have here in America. So over the past few weeks, Russia has gone on another, a surge, if you will, kind of a raid of finding people who look too gay. So let me clarify that. In 2013, Russia passed an anti-gay law, which was put in force basically banning the spread of LGBT propaganda, specifically among minors. This doesn't necessarily apply to adults. So the people that are getting fined are doing it publicly where children are around.
Okay.
Right? So if they're wearing explicit assless chaps, or, we're talking like real explicit homosexual kind of clothing here, they're going around and fining them 50,000 rubles, which equates to about 350 pounds European, so about $300 American per infraction. And so
that's a lot.
That's quite a bit. Yeah, that's quite a bit. So, I think it's
unmanly clothing is what it's in quotations here.
Right. So the idea, they're charging them with trying to arouse interest in non-traditional sexual relations with the impact to minors. So that's the law that Russia has. It can get pretty hard in some places around the world.
Yeah.
We talk about freedoms and stuff like that. I know a lot of people are up in arms about what's happening with this administration change, but there's a lot of freedoms in this country that people take for granted. And this is a good reminder of it.
It is a good reminder. And I'll say it here. I didn't really talk too much during the voting season, but I didn't vote. I didn't do it. But I still, even though I don't like Trump as a person, I want him to succeed and do a good job as the United States president. So for anybody out there that didn't vote for Trump, that is like naysaying and being negative about his presidency, that's creating a negative energy that will affect our country. And I know he didn't always have the best morals. Hopefully some of his guidance has changed, but let's try to inject positivity into our environment and be one as a citizenship. Like, we're all the same, especially doing all this podcasting. Like, we're all the same. So I'm kind of getting a little off there. I'm going on a little bit of a rant.
No, I agree with everything you said.
But there's no better time than to be supportive of the new president coming in than now.
Yeah, I've been supportive of every president, whether I agree with them or disagree with them. I also hold every president to the same standard. If this person's not better than this person because they did this and they did that. Like, there's a lot of crooked stuff in Washington. Politics, we know, is a dirty place. But united we stand. That's all I want. I want everyone to get along. We want America first. We want to win. We want to win as a team, not half of America.
Yeah.
Right? So, look, not everyone's going to be 100% agreement all the time. People are going to be pissed. They're going to debate about things. But this is just a reminder, I think, of, when people get upset about this topic, that there's some places where you can't even express yourself at all.
Yeah. I mean, what were you saying, that like in some Muslim countries that
the Taliban are banning windows.
Banning windows.
So that bystanders and people walking down the street can't look in and see a female.
Jesus.
They can't even leave the house with any skin showing. So it gets bad out there.
Yeah. So be grateful. Thank God that everybody tuning in America, and thank God to all of our allies, anybody else that's tuning in outside of America that supports and is and gets our back. It's a world. We're all here on this planet together.
That's right.
We're all here together, man. So that's crazy.
Beautiful country.
And look, I could go on a rant, so no more perfect time than to get into a quick Raw talk.
It's been a while since we had a Raw talk.
Okay, so this is just a really quick one. It's the new year. People are excited about the big goals and new ambitions and changing your life, taking control of your life, which you have the power to do. We all have the power to take control of our lives. So what I wanted to say quickly here was my key thoughts on how we can do this successfully. First, we have to take action. I didn't do this, but I know a lot of people are like making a 2025 like visual board where you put all the things that you want to achieve in the year on there. Like, define what you want in your life and then stay focused on those things. Like, you have to think about it. Think about it as if you're achieving it. And for me, defining the big goal obviously is important, because then from there we can know the small steps to take. So once you have your big goals defined, don't let it overwhelm you every single day, because for me it can get overwhelming. So I just break it down into small things, actionable items that can be tangibly accomplished every day. So big goal, break it down into smaller pieces. We can all achieve goals. We could do 2 to 3 things a day. Easy. Spend an hour working on your big goals, doing something towards it. What you need to do is do it. First of all, it's one thing to have an idea and to like be like, yeah, I want to do this, but are you going to do it? So that's my first thing, is do it. Make the commitment. That means that you're going to do it even when you don't want to. Like, I work out all the time even when I don't want to. And main reason why is because you are worth it. You're worth the change. You're able to make a change in your life, and you should believe in yourself and love yourself enough to challenge yourself, fail, and succeed. That's the only way that we're going to become stronger. And Kev, you've been chief of the grit movement. You've been doing a lot of this stuff recently, so I just kind of want to get your feedback on this too, and get some key points of success that you've seen.
Yeah, the grit movement, man. Guts, resilience, initiative, tenacity. It kind of follows, foot of what you're saying here. And the real thing is, right, find your goal, find your purpose, whatever that is, what gets you excited, and then have your mini goals, as you kind of just listed out. A lot of people have these great ideas, and I'm going to do this, and this is going to do, great. Well, what are you doing to actively make it happen? It's not going to be easy, number one.
Yeah,
right?
so what's an example for you, and then I could give one of mine. Like, so it's more detailed. Like, what's something that you did?
Something that I did was recommit to my passion. That's what I did.
That's a big one.
That's a big one, because I was ready to walk away from it.
Yeah.
And once you recommit, there's no going back.
That's nice. And then it's just showing up every week. That's a tangible thing.
That's a tangible thing.
Putting together a press release, spending 30 minutes on that. That's a tangible thing.
That's coming today.
Yeah. So tangible things. For me, I'm going to talk about losing weight. Obviously, that's a good one. I've lost over 70 pounds. It took me 2 years. I changed how I ate. I walked daily, and those were things I could do every single day to help me get to that goal. Stay in it. Just because it's a new year doesn't mean anything much. It's always a new day. So
you can own it at any
let's
moment,
go
right?
after it. Yes.
You can own it at any moment, like I've been saying for a long time, and control what you can control. A lot of things are out of our control. We can't control what the horrible things that happened this week around the country. That's out of our control. Are we going to, how much of that are we really going to let us pull in and just, because a lot of people just look at that and go, I'm giving up. It's just shit out there, this and that and the other. You're always going to have that opposing force pulling at you, no matter what. You have to. You got to have something pushing you forward and something pulling you back. It's that the law of the way magnets work, positive and negative, right? You have to have that yin and yang, that balance on the scale. So control what we can control, baby.
I like it. So important, so crucial. Let's do this. It's a brand new day, brand new life. And honestly, there's major new energy in this studio. And there's also geriatric eggs that are new in the world as well.
Geriatric eggs, good way to put it. This is crazy stuff. So one of the oldest known wild birds, lives in Hawaii.
Okay.
Which makes sense. I mean, you think about the weather out there and some of the eating. It's living its best life out there in Hawaii. Wild bird, Art, 74 years old, has laid an egg.
Wow.
I mean, first egg laid in over 6 years, so it was 68 at its last lay. The Wildlife Administration says they think this thing's going to hatch. It's going to be a successful birth of this new chickie, if you will.
What kind of bird is this? I'm trying to find.
Yeah, it's
albatross.
Yeah,
it's an albatross.
Yeah, which is, you ever seen those?
Yeah, they're like one of the biggest seabirds.
They're cool. They're really cool looking. This thing laid its first egg in 1956. Okay, think about that.
Damn.
Think about that.
My dad was 1.
Yeah.
No, my dad was 6. My mom was 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of wild, isn't it?
That is wild. And
This
thing's still giving birth?
This thing's still giving life.
Yeah.
At 74 years old.
See, it didn't quit.
It didn't quit. It had the grit.
It had the grit.
To
it
lay
didn't quit.
to lay in a chick. So that's good stuff. Ending on kind of a positive note here on Happy Friday, America. I'm going to keep an eye on this thing out there in Hawaii.
Okay.
The Fish and Wildlife Service say we think that this thing's good to go. Apparently they have a Facebook page where we can take a look at it. So I don't know if this link will directly show a picture of it. We'll put the link down below. But there is a Facebook post that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service have put up a photo of. I'm going to take a look at it.
So the name is like Akira Kamiya. That's like the name of the albatross. Akira Kamiya.
Okay.
I believe.
Yep.
I believe that's the name of it.
Yeah, okay,
So
perfect.
we're wishing the best for you, Akira Kamiya. And we're wishing the best for everybody this weekend. So cool shit to do.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Let's start off the year strong. Let's create the momentum that we can continue to ride for the next couple of weeks, and so we could do it every day.
You're about to have an epic weekend, my friend.
I'm about to have a very epic weekend that
I'm excited for you.
I'm so excited, and I can't talk about it now.
No, you can't.
But
I know.
Tears of joy. It makes me have tears of joy, bro.
I'm happy for you, my brother.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
You're going to have an epic weekend.
That's going to be crazy.
Can't wait to hear about it next week. People, take down your Christmas shit, all right? I know a lot of folks here in Denver, there's like a thing they like to leave it up in January.
I'm taking mine down tonight.
Mine's already down. I mean, if you want to leave it up, that's on you, but it's like we're in January. Let's turn the calendar.
Yeah.
Holidays are over.
Yeah.
It's a good weekend to do it.
It is.
Start off fresh when we get back Monday. A lot of people are going back to the office Monday, right? Get that stuff out of there. And you know what? While you're at it, finish off your Christmas returns, which I actually have to do.
You got some returns?
I
actually already did mine.
I bought the wrong size shirt at the Boot Barn.
Okay.
So I got to go take that back. So I'm going to do that. So I'm in this mix. And the other thing you could do, Ari, is get a haircut.
Dude, keep it clean, keep it tight.
Get a haircut. Start the year off fresh. Get that
Yeah.
fresh cut going.
You know, you're well groomed. You take care of yourself. You spend a little money taking care of yourself. Pamper yourself. You feel good. You take care of business, baby.
You got to handle business. And when you have a barber like mine, full send, you got to
Susie Shirley.
You got to run it.
Definitely one of the best.
Parker, Colorado. Look her up if you're in the area. She's packed. Good luck getting in there because that's how good she is.
Yeah.
Top-rated barber in Parker. I've been with her for 8 years. She's fantastic.
Killer.
So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And that wraps it up, brother. Let's get on to the weekend. You got epic stuff to do. I got things to do. Instagram and Facebook, guys. Follow us at Happy Friday USA. Twitter X at Happy Fry USA. It's where you can take the polls. They go up every Friday morning. That's the first thing we do. We do have an email, but people don't use it. HappyFridayAmerica@gmail.com. The Fricashinas, they're getting ready to rip tater chip. Let's go, America.